Okay, so this is TK Shazam. I'm just a nerd who likes Tekken and talking about it, and this will be a feedback slash critique for Beanfox. The goal to be trying to pinpoint areas where, hey, try this type of offense here, or hey, you should be blocking here, right? If you have future replays, I'd recommend having inputs for both players on so you can see what the opponent's doing, as well as the frame data. It makes things a bit cluttered, but I think you can still see animations. The goal here is you need to be able to start looking at information, right? If you're trying to run offense, what buttons was he pressing, right? If you got beat, what buttons did you press? What did he press? Compare and contrast, right? You'll be able to learn a little bit of the matchup that way and then help improve the matchup knowledge, right? Let's keep going. So at the round start, when you dash up like this, you immediately dash up, dash back. Why? Right? Players are typically, I want to say they're typically not they are aggressive, they are mashing, but they usually they don't have that sharp reaction, especially at this early level. They're not immediately going to start going, "Oh, let me immediately challenge with something," right? The first time you dash up to them, they're like, "Oh, someone's running at me." So use that opportunity to use some long range attacks, right? Use quarter circle forward 3, get some chip damage in. Use quarter circle back 4 to control the space and make them wary about just running in, or you get free plus frames to then try and figure that stuff out, right? Just running in and then letting go like that, I don't think is a good idea in Tekken 8, right? Unless you have a good read on what the opponent likes to do and you're going to bait something out of them. You want to run in, get some chip damage, be assertive in your offense, defense, whatever, right? And force the opponent into action. Paul has enough tools to get in some free chip damage that will incentivize the opponent into attacking you, right? And from there, once you get that chip damage in, once you get that life lead, then you can kind of hang back, let the Raven approach you, and from there see how well you can either defend against it or disrupt his offense. That's the playstyle I'm mostly comfortable with, right? I don't want to be too passive, but I want to force the opponent into action. So lows, maybe the occasional throw, some whiff punishment. That's what will get them incentivized. And from there, because they're going to be attacking, I'll have more opportunities for counter hits, for punishment, etc. Basically, at this early round, people are not going to be blocking low. I want them to prove to me that yes, you're going to block low. And so I'll just start slamming quarter circle forward 3. If I'm close enough, it'll be side step 3 or back 4, right? Just start racking up that damage. I'm 90% sure that's punishable on block. Even if it's not, if you block a power crush, throws are guaranteed. Paul has a full throw game and a very good throw game, right? Up forward 1+2 will set up the floor break on this stage, and the position you're left at has decent enough O-keep where you can start setting up the opponent to then get floor broken, right? So any power crush you run into, you block it, throw them, right? Pretty sure they're guaranteed on block. I have to double check that. But even if they're not, this one, pretty sure it's punishable on block. Pretty sure it's a mid. But double check, that's why we have the replay feature, so confirm that. I like the idea. I think he went for a jab here. He just immediately, yeah, he blocked it, right? So, okay, so right here, look at this. So you start, block it, jab. Oh, you got 1, 2, okay. So then he immediately starts jabbing to see if you're going to duck or not, and then going for a throw. Unfortunate. Now you know, so this is a bit more advanced. I think it's a bit more difficult, but you want to start picking this up. It's like, okay, I did an interaction with the opponent, and they immediately start retaliating, right? So that will tell you, like, oh, this dude likes to press buttons, and he will try to jab a lot, right? So in that situation, you're going to go, okay, in the future, if I have this interaction where he's going to jab a lot, especially, he's doing 1-2, he's not doing, like, 1-1, right? He's not doing this whole, oh, let me finish my full jab string. I don't know if Raven even has those. So you know in the future, like, okay, if I have a low frame situation, like you're +1 to 3 or -1 to 3, you have either advantage or disadvantage, but not a lot. They're immediately going to try and jab, right? Or mash their way out of it. So there you can go, okay, you either frame trap them if you're plus, or if you're minus, start moving around, and then the movement will avoid the jab, and then you can retaliate with either sidestep into jab or sidestep into down forward 2 if you have the hard call out, right? But you want to, anytime you interact with the opponent, keep in mind how they like to act, right? Do they immediately start challenging? Do they prefer movement instead? Do they backdash? And that's how you can kind of start developing your offensive game plan. Do they start mashing? Movement, power crush, frame trap. One of those options will work. You have to figure out which one you want to do. Do they start moving, like sidestepping? You have plenty of tracking options, right? As well as you have throws. And throws are homing, right? Do they start backdashing? You know, you can either chase them down or just start doing quarter circle forward 3, which will get you some chip damage, and then, you know, enable you to chase them down a little bit. Right. Here, this... that's tough. This is a bit more matchup specific, but in these early ranks, these Ravens aren't going to be great. A lot of my advice I'm going to try and tailor to short term and long term. What do I mean by that? Short term is in these early ranks, you're fighting people that don't know the counterplay better, and you can get some neat rewards off of that. These are specific to the level of player you're fighting right now and the ranks you're at right now. I mean, this video is kind of old. Maybe you've ranked up since then, but you know, it's not something I'd recommend at higher levels because there's a bit more of a developed mind game there, right? At this stage, I think it's very doable that if the Raven likes leaving themselves back turned against you like this, you just start doing 3-2 back 1-2, right? You need to punish them hard, right? Let them know, like, hey, this isn't Tekken 7. You can't just be back turned against me like that and just get away with it, right? Or just start throwing them, you know, back turn throws are guaranteed. But that's more matchup specific, so it's not general enough. But if you see this Raven just leaving themselves open like back turn like that, try to be quicker on taking advantage of that. Force them again. Don't let the opponent get comfortable. Challenge them where you think they're kind of being a little too passive. This will force them into immediate action, right? And then you can start to figure out, like, okay, what do they immediately like to do, right? You force a situation, they're forced to attack. You make educated guesses on what they're going to attack with, and then you can reap the benefits of a punishment, a counter hit by challenging them, etc. But just letting them kind of run their offense like this, it's tough, right? This part's fine. This is all fine. Nice. Good down forward too. This is launch punishable. Alright, this is... You need to... It's fast, but you need to practice. If you block this knee from Raven at this range, right, if he's super close and he does this knee for whatever reason, you need to back 3. You need to back 3, right? Most characters are only going to get a knockdown punish, maybe some chunky damage, right? I mean, Brian gets jet upper, which is annoying, but whatever. Paul getting back 3 is good, especially when in this range you know it's going to work. I'm not going to harp too much on, oh, you don't know this matchup or whatever, but if there are big launch opportunities, we need to highlight that because that is huge damage you're leaving on the table. Even if it's not the greatest damage, like at this distance, you're not going to get the wall to really maximize Paul's damage or whatever, that's fine. You're still getting damage, you're getting wall carry, you can set up a floor break here, a bunch of benefits. But just kind of blocking and letting it go, you want to be very mindful of that, right? Okay, so this is another situation of, okay, the opponent is giving me information to work with, right? If you did down forward 1 into backsway 4, I think that layer 1, that offensive flowchart is good, right? But now you know, okay, if I do backsway mix-ups, this Raven's going to immediately try and challenge with jabs. So you want to do backsway 3 in the future, or you want to do backsway 1+2 if you really want to gamble on them just jabbing immediately, right? Even if your mix-up got disrupted, even if your offense got disrupted, it's information you want to use to refine your offense, right? If you get pressed out of something, that lets you go, okay, the opponent is going to be very willing to challenge my offense. I should adjust my timing and go either into delayed timing, or in this situation, when you have a canned mix-up, right? In the backsway offense, you can either delay your backsway move, you can either backsway 1+2, all sorts of stuff. You have options here. So you want to cycle through those options and not let the opponent get disrupt you for free. Yeah, like right there, if you did, the mid or back 1+2, he'd just get blown up. Okay, so let's talk about this. So right here, you kind of back off and you start dashing away. Why are you backdashing into the wall, right? What is your game plan here? Remember, your back is to the wall, even if you can't see it, because of how the stage is positioned, how the stage aligns. I'm aware that the back is going to be to your wall soon enough. And the Raven has all this room to work with. He can run away, or he can start pressuring you. So remember that and try to reposition. Don't let yourself just let the opponent have all this wall pressure for free. Start sidestepping, start moving away from it, and forcing them to go, hey, if you want to keep the wall, you need to interact with me and start something. So that way, they're incentivized to approach you, and then you can disrupt them with down forward 2, quarter circle back 4, etc. Try not to be too comfortable just staying in position like this. 3D game, 3D environment, right? Ah, that's unfortunate. Nice this out. Ah, that's unfortunate. Nice, good punish. Okay, so more information, right? Okay, you got a knockdown. I can't talk. You got a knockdown. You're running in to apply your Oki, your offense, and they immediately start pressing into it, right? So that's more information you can kind of utilize in the future. Now you know in the future if you try to run in at them, they're likely to press a button, maybe a get up kick or a low. So now you have options. You can either hang back and try to whiff punish, right? Dash up a little bit to bait that you're going to go for something, and they're going to be incentivized to press. Or you run up and do shredder kicks, hop kick, whatever you do, some low crush to just punish them, right? Because look at it this way, if you dash up, hang back, waiting for a whiff punish, and it doesn't happen, that's fine. You kind of have the life lead, and more importantly, you're not putting yourself at a risk. So now you can kind of reset to neutral, and then just start going either chipping with lows, pressuring with quarter circle back 4, or hammer of the gods with forward 1+2, stuff like that, right? But you're not overcommitting, right? That's going to be a running theme with Paul, is that in the early rounds, you're going to be information gathering, trying to figure out what type of player this is, how do they like to play, what do they like to do on these interactions, right? Because if you're not sure when you should go for offense or when you should punish, just look at your opponent. When do they like to press? Okay, this is when they like to press. I'm not going to try and press anything. I'm going to try and block and punish it, or block and then jab, right? Because even if something's not punishable, you can press a jab and now you're +1, and now you can start your offense by jabbing again or doing some other string or some other option that you have. Okay, then if they're not pressing and they don't press in this situation, at this spacing, whatever, that's when you go, okay, I can try pressing stuff here, right? And then you start refining that more and more, okay? Oh, I thought he wasn't going to press here. I pressed my offense, but he pressed this. Do I need to reevaluate it, or if I was a little bit faster, I could get there, right? These are the thoughts that should be running through your head whenever you're trying to figure out how to start structuring your offense and game plan, right? You press a button, the opponent reacts to that, whether they block it, whether they eat it, whether they challenge it, and that is all information that you can quickly kind of figure out, like, okay, if I do this, they do that. If they do that, I can do this, and so on and so forth. This really should have been a call. I should have done like a training session or something. Yeah, that's fine. He does the back chain thing. It's okay. Okay, so right here, let's talk about this. Oh, alright, actually, no, I liked what you did here. I like this. Because you kind of bait something out. Nice, beautiful whiff punish. Okay. That's fine, but it's fine. It worked out. I'm not gonna say anything. Let's just keep going. Nice. All right. Nice wall combo. Unfortunate. So the opponent likes to tech a lot, and I think you had the right idea. You sidestep to stay in line with them, but you were just a little slow in applying your offense, right? Maybe in the future, just no. I think this is fine. I think it's fine. In the future, you have to kind of quickly discern, like, okay, do they immediately press a button, or do they tech roll into block, right? If they immediately press buttons, you're gonna sidestep and then maybe do down 4-2, something quick to catch them out of them pressing their button, right? Or counter hitting them with down 4-2. If they like to block, then you start throwing them to get them back into position for the wall, etc., etc. But that's neither here nor there. That's unfortunate. Yeah, the shadow clones are hard to deal with. That's unfortunate. Okay, so I like this idea here. Run up, jab, you start your offense. Why do standing 4, right? Because here's the thing. Standing 4 is a bit of a weird one these days because throws are so buffed in this game, and you're essentially the same thing. They're both high, fast options, right? And I think, yeah, throws aren't guaranteed, but if the idea is that you're frame trapping the opponent, because you're pressing standing 4 at +1, so because you think, oh, he's gonna press a button, right? But it's like, okay, so if he's gonna press a button, why not throw him? Unless he's gonna if he likes to jab in the past, as we saw in some interactions, and so jab would still beat standing 4, right? I don't think it has any weird animation evasion or anything like that. It would beat your throws. So you'd have to reinforce with a jab first to make sure, like, okay, if I'm +1, what does he like to do, right? Does he like to jab and confirm it, right? Is he pressing when he shouldn't? Basically, what I'm trying to say is immediately going for the frame trap for an option that loses to the button he's typically been pressing with, just singular jab, I think is a weird idea, right? In the future, try to first confirm that he is pressing to begin with, right? Do like jab into jab, right? And then in the future, if he does like pressing, and as long as it's not a jab, I think throws are better suited. One, there'll be a bit more damage than standing 4, because standing 4, I think you lose out on a few points. Your guaranteed follow-ups don't do as much damage as Paul's throws. And then 2, especially in this situation, if you frame trap with up forward 1+2, you'll floor break into a full combo, right? So taking advantage of all of like the little nuances for Paul's kit, right? He has a floor breaking throw. He has a floor breaking throw that can act as a decent frame trap, so utilize it. But I think you have the right idea here. Use a jab to initiate your offense and then start applying that same, again, think of it like a branching pathway, right? So you jab, right? Immediately at the jab or quarter circle back 4 on block, you are +1. So now you go, okay, what do they like to do? I'm going to test with another jab. If you test with another jab, that will beat out any option that the opponent has and incentivize them to duck in the future. So now in the future, you can start setting up your mids that way, right? If you're at +1, if your jab is blocked, okay, they're not likely to challenge my plus frames at +1 yet. So maybe I can be a bit greedier. Then you can step it up, right? Go for a throw, right? Or go for a low, or go for maybe a mid like down forward 1. I don't know about down forward 4 yet, right? And that's how you want to start looking at offense, right? Each and every interaction will give you an offensive or defensive opportunity, and based on what the player does is what you're going to go for, right? I guess like why the back four here? What was the reasoning? But that's tough. I don't know. Also, this match is like what, almost a week old, so maybe you don't even remember. I should have done this earlier, but didn't have the time. Such is life. Nice, good disruption. Nice, good frame trap. So what was the reason? I guess what was the reasoning here, right? If you know the floor break is set up, why not take it away from him? Because here you're letting him keep the floor, but I don't know. I think I would have gone for the wall running two-ender and floor broken for some free damage and then setting up the next floor break. This is going to be a bit of a tangent. I mean, I'm rambling a shitload, so it's already a lot of a tangent. But you want to start looking at stages as resources, right? Especially ones with exploding walls or floor breaks like this one. You have a resource that is accessible to both players, and it's up to you to figure out when you want to cash out on it, right? I'm of the opinion the moment I see that floor break setup, I'm just going to take it away from the opponent as soon as possible. I don't want my opponent to have this free resource where if he gets a stray hit, spikes me, and then floor breaks, he gets to continue his combo with free extra damage for no reason, right? Even if I'm not going to get a huge damage boost from the floor break at the end of a combo as opposed to starting with a throw or starting with a spike or some shit, the idea is that I'm taking that away from my opponent, so that's one less headache I have to deal with. So that's something to consider when you're on stages like this, right? Let's keep going. So I think you had the right idea, but again, it's that situation of he likes to press buttons. If he did a low, he would have most likely beaten out or outspeed, he would have beaten forward 1+2. Now he's doing a power crush, right? Again, you know that if you run up to him and there's a bit of a gap in between your offense and, if you have to run up to him, he's going to press a button. So you want to start getting into the habit of just hanging back, pumping the brakes slightly, and just seeing like, okay, what is he going to press? Can I punish it? And whatever else. Good option, just unfortunate. Raven has a lot of high crushing stuff. I mean, if you want to risk it, just, down 1+2. You may as well beat out him ducking and his back turn stuff, but it's fine. Wow, I beat up the... Gotta punish that. Good break. Okay, so now this is, you're repositioned, right? You're neutral, and this Raven's gonna be running in at you, right? That's unfortunate. I think you had the right idea, just, what did you press? Because I think on block, the shadows are only -3 in heat, I think. So here, this is where you want to start looking at your own replays by yourself in frame data training, right? Try to use replay takeover. After you block this situation, you do a variety of things. Try to move, try to press, try to power crush, and see what could have happened. Obviously, power crush loses immediately because he did a low, but that's how you're going to kind of develop that knowledge and understanding of like, okay, I was this minus in this situation or this plus in this situation. Here's what I tried. What other options work? And kind of developing and refining that. Right. I know there's a second match. I don't want to make this video too long as it is. I think I've given a lot of food for thought, and I want to hear back from you, right? Did this help? Did this not make any sense whatsoever, right? What other questions do you have? Do you want to have more? Do you want more specific, like, here is an offensive flowchart, do this, right? Or were you more like, I just need more information on the Raven matchup, right? I'm leaving it here. If you have questions, please let me know, and let's try and refine this a little bit more. All right? Have a good one.